And now, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Brandon is traveling across the state of Florida, teaching realtors the magic of his ways, educating other realtors on how to be successful in Florida real estate. And so my name is Johnny Torres. I'm filling in for the consumer quarterback. Thank you so much for listening, watching, whenever, wherever you may be doing so. Again, you can find the Consumer Quarterback Show at consumerqb.com. You can find the audio version of this show on all your favorite podcast platform, Apple, Roku, Google. You can find the video version, on Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, Amazon, and the audio version of our show over at Spotify, iTunes. All right, so you can find this show just about everywhere. Make sure you check us out. Follow, like, subscribe, or as they say, ring the bell, and that way you don't miss a single episode of the Consumer Quarterback Show. We, of course, are here to provide you an education on consumer advocacy, and educate you as a consumer on not only how to navigate Florida real estate, but also financial planning, self-defense, legal issues, and we've got just dozens of experts in fields that you may need help with. So if there's something we can do for you, make sure you reach out to us throughout from the hotline, and that's 813-917-18. I lost the phone number, but again, consumerqb.com is going to be the place to find us. Consumerqb.com. As always, we want to go ahead and open by thanking one of our sponsors, one of the small businesses that make our community great and also make this program possible. Our first sponsor is going to be Golf Cart Depot. Golf Cart Depot is just a lot of fun. If you haven't been there, they'll let you test drive these golf carts. You can get it in any style you want. People don't even know there's like 4 different types of golf carts that you can buy. If you want to get the off-road type or you want the street legal type, you can go ahead and check out golfcartdepot.com. They've got 2 locations in Tampa, Clearwater, and they're just so much fun to have, and especially with today's gas prices, I think you'd probably be better off driving around in a golf cart than you would be in your own personal vehicle. So check out golfcartdepot.com. We also want to go into our properties. Again, if you want to be listing your residential property, commercial property, the Platinum MVP team can do it all for you. So make sure you visit us on our website, where you can find 507 South Prospect Avenue in Clearwater is an amazing building that Brandon just picked up as a listing. It's 2,700 square feet, 12 rooms, 2 bathrooms. It's 2 stories, so there's plenty of office space. Even if you want to sublease some of the other space, it's a great investment opportunity. It's a commercial office building just minutes away from downtown Clearwater, right off Gulf to Bay, so it's easy to get to. It has a newer roof and HVAC units, so that's a huge expense that's already been taken care of. And for those tough days at the office, you're only 10 minutes away from Clearwater Beach. So make sure you check out 507 South Prospect Avenue in Clearwater, Florida. And again, if you happen to be the entrepreneurial type and you want something that's maybe a little bit more ready to go, check out 14121 7th Street in Dade City. Again, it's 14121 7th Street in Dade City. This is a beautiful little restaurant that they have there. It's established. It's got a reputation. It's got a following. It's been there since 1990 in downtown Dade City, which has just seen enormous growth. It's a beautiful town. 2 dining rooms upstairs, and also you can even have live-in management if you want to offer that as an incentive. It's got a 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment included. The sale includes all of the furniture and equipment, so it is turnkey. Ready to go day one, plenty of parking available, and a great entrepreneurial investment for the right buyer. So make sure you check that out. 14121 7th Street in Dade City. You can you can find more pictures and virtual tours and all that fun stuff at platinummvpteam.kw.com. Kicking us off is one of our favorite guests that we like to have here on the show on a regular basis. especially when they give away AR-15s. Hint, hint. Joining us today, along with a guest of his own, is Thomas King, owner, CEO of Florida Firearms Academy. Always fun to have on the show. You always bring in, again, other people from the community doing interesting, amazing things, so we appreciate you for doing that. How are things at FFA?
Doing great, thanks, and thanks for having me. I didn't know I was a favorite one, but I do love bringing on guests, and today I brought in Ken today, and Ken, you'd like to say hello?
Hello, everyone.
We'll talk about Ken in just a second. You love doing these community events, where it's a way, it's something that, has gone by the wayside, unfortunately, in too many communities. We don't know who our neighbors are. Even you being a business owner, I'm sure there's, not you, but I know there's probably other people who don't know who their neighboring business owners are.
Oh, absolutely.
There's a disconnect, and I think, talking about some of the societal things that are happening right now that are unfortunate, in nature. I think it's because it's a lack of that. There's a lack of camaraderie. There's a lack of community. And you recently had an event. You had a chili cook-off,
right.
And I was joking about the AR-15 because Brandon actually happened to be one of
the winners.
One of your winners. Right. But tell us, what motivates you? What drives you to do those kind of events?
Well, back in my day, they always said it takes a village to raise a family, and it does. And in our little community, we all know all the businesses. We get to know all the owners, and it's good because you can always be mad at someone you don't know. You can be mad at someone you do know, but it's harder if you actually know them, become their friend. We work together for discounts, making sure that everyone's safe and secure. Our police force there is amazing. They come by all the time, every night, every few hours. They check it out. They make sure that we're safe, the community's safe. So we always try to give back. Just like on my neighborhood in West Chase, we know all our neighbors. We hang out. We have little parties.
Awesome.
Even in our little community where our business is, all of us get together and we have cookouts and we do things, and you can resolve any problem or issue right there. You don't have to get upset and mad and saying, hey, you put your stuff on my side of the, hey, you're right there. Hey, you know what, can you move it? Absolutely. I can take care of that. There's no reason to get upset or mad. Get to know your family, your friends, your neighbors, and the business owners. That's where it's going to help you out a lot.
Well, you are, of course, one of our best Second Amendment self-defense experts that we have on a regular basis. But really building that community is also a great a tactic to address safety in the community.
Right. We want to make sure that if you do want to support the Second Amendment, you do buy a firearm. We are the largest academy around with 40 different types of classes and training. We have 20 different instructors there. So we want to make sure you're doing it safely, correctly. And also, if you're doing it just for sport or competition, we want to go ahead and teach you that as well, so you can have a good time making sure you're 100% safe.
Again, part of this is that, as I mentioned, you like to bring in other guests, kind of donate your time on this show to highlight other individuals in the community doing great things. So tell us a little bit about your guest today. We have Ken Afienko with us. So Afienko, sorry.
Ken is running. He's running for judgeship, or is that what this?
County court judge.
County court judge. Yep. And Ken is a member of ours. He does amazing things. He still a law enforcement attorney, and just an amazing guy and great speaker. So I thought I got to get this guy on the show.
Yeah.
Everyone would love to listen to what he has to say today.
Now, Ken, is this your first time running for judge? Tell us a little bit about your background and what kind of brought you to run for judge here in Pinellas County.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I've been in Pinellas County since 1968, moved down from Massachusetts. Anyway, when I became 19, I decided to go to the police academy. I have since been a police officer since 1981, so yes, that's 41 years after. I still am a police officer. Although I'm not on the road anymore, I do firearms training for the officers, and I do some legal education as well for the new recruits. So my whole life I've been in public service. Mm-hmm. That has been a passion of mine. I've never been driven by money. That's what directed me to helping people. I know, as cliche as that may sound, I'm truly interested in helping people, and I've done it for 41 years. This is a continuation of my legal career, my law enforcement career. I've learned how to communicate with people, have sympathy and empathy for people, and understand where they're coming from. and there's no doubt in my mind I can do a wonderful job as a county court judge in Pinellas County.
And that's Ken Afienko. That's Afienko, and you're running for County Court Group 13 in Pinellas County. Again, thank you not only for your amazing years of service in the community, but also even for putting yourself out as a candidate. I've been, involved at the grassroots level, of politics for a long time, and I know it's a lot of work and not a whole lot of fun running for office because of the scrutiny and the commitment that
you
comes with it.
You put your life on the line there.
Absolutely. I mean, and you've done it seems like at every stage of your life. Give us an idea of your law enforcement and your legal background, the perspective that it gives you, and why that would be beneficial for you as a judge in Pinellas County.
Sure. County court's a little different than like circuit court or appellate court. County court is what we call the people's court, meaning a lot of people come in and they're unrepresented. They're presenting their side of the story with whatever type of case they may have, and they're looking to the court to assist them. Having been an officer for 41 years, I've dealt with every imaginable situation known to man, and I've learned to communicate, learned to calm people down, learned to work with them, always there to help, and there's no question about it that being on the bench, those special qualities that I've learned will help, obviously, in me being in a judicial position of that nature. So, I mean, you can't teach someone to be a police officer. You have to go out there and do it. And after 41 years, I think I have a lot of experience I can bring to the bench and continue to be a public servant.
I think the neat thing is that he's on both sides. So he's, a law enforcement and law. So you get to see both sides, and that gives you the best perspective to judge it. So from both sides of the angle of everything that can happen in a situation.
Well, yeah, especially in today's climate, both sides. There's a lot of there's a lot of scrutiny on both sides, nowadays when it comes to certain cases, certain incidents. And I know that being a candidate for judge, you're very limited as to what you can and cannot discuss, from a platform standpoint. But is there something maybe currently in the judicial system that you would do differently or see there as an opportunity to have the biggest impact?
Well, I think one of the biggest things that I've seen, at least the last couple of years, is the decorum in the courtroom. There's a lot of discontent in people expressing their opinions. We also saw recently, we've had the Supreme Court justices with people intimidating the courts. You have to have integrity and decorum and respect what's going on. You may not like the decision, but you have to respect it. And that seems to bother a lot of people, and frankly, the way it's going in that sort of sense does bother me. I can tell you that in my courtroom, my temperament and my demeanor and the way I handle business is always on an even keel.
Yeah.
No sense of getting mad at anybody. That's not the place or time for it. I've been a victim of being screamed at in the courtroom by certain people, and it's not a comfortable feeling. And I can tell you that will never, ever, ever happen in my courtroom.
All right. For those that are interested in learning more about your candidacy, not only tell them where they can go to learn more about you, but when is your election? The
election is on August 23rd this year, and that's when the primary is. So that's when
it goes with the primary,
is.
not the general election. And that's Ken Afienko. That's Afienko. And what's the best website or way to get a hold of you if someone wants to learn more about your candidacy?
Yes, my website is afienko4judge.com. That's the best way to learn about me. I have a resume on there. You can see all my supporters and what I've done for the last 41 years in Pinellas County.
All right, wonderful. And Thomas, thank you so
America
much.
Safe. Yes,
that's right. Thank you so much for bringing Ken in to join us today. Florida Firearms available online at ffatampa.com. Anything else you want to drop?
We'll have some more events coming up soon, so we'll post them up on Facebook and our webpage at ffatampa.com.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us today. Coming up, we've got John Long, United States Institute Against Human Trafficking, and also our feel-good story of the day. Not sci-fi. There has been a jetpack rescue that happened on the top of a mountain. We'll tell you more about that in just a little bit, along with more properties available here throughout the Tampa Bay area from the Platinum MVP team, and that's called coming up on the Consumer Quarterback Show.
Thanks for listening to My Daddy's Show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast on iTunes and Spotify, or check out our YouTube channel. Have a blessed day.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Ian Beckles here with my man Brandon Rhymes, a.k.a. the real estate quarterback. Brandon, what's happening with the market?
Thanks, Ian. Any of our listeners out there, we'll offer you a 2% listing for the first 3 callers that reach out to the hotline, 813-917-1894. Call or text the hotline, 813-917-1894. Also, a great opportunity for folks out there looking for a part-time gig, maybe a side hustle, is Keller Williams Real Estate School, powered by Kaplan. Reach out if you'd like more information on how we have a free real estate school for you, online class, get licensed, and start referring business in, or maybe make a new career. 813-917-1894, consumerqb.com for our syndicated radio and TV show on 80 outlets worldwide, consumerqb.com, or our real estate website at platinummvpteam.kw.com. That's platinummvpteam.kw.com. And please follow us online at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Instagram, Twitter, Getter, and check out our YouTube channel, Brandon Rhymes Realty. Make it a great day. Hey, Brandon Rhymes here for Cleaning Commandos here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Cleaning Commandos are hiring, and they're offering competitive wages, flexible hours, relaxed atmosphere, and a sign-on bonus. Reach out if you'd like a career with the Cleaning Commandos here in Tampa Bay. Info at cleaningcommandosllc.com or call 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550. Cleaning Commandos, Consumer Quarterback Show. Have you desired more income and more freedom in your life? Now is your time. Keller Williams Realty has just launched our own real estate school, and you can get licensed for free. I'm Brandon Rhymes, host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. And for the first 3 people who reach out, I will personally coach you. 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. ConsumerQB.com. ConsumerQB.com.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
That's right. You can also check out the Platinum MVP team at platinummvpteam.kw.com. And for the Consumer Quarterback Show, you can catch all the video versions of our show, not only on your smart TV, Roku, Fire TV, Amazon, and Apple TV, but you can also follow us on YouTube, on Facebook. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and ring the bell, as they say. We have an amazing YouTube audience, got incredible numbers. We're averaging about 1,000 views a month, and continues to grow thanks to you guys who are supporting the show and supporting all the local businesses here in town that make this show possible. One of those is actually Heights Soft Wash. Our friend Kazami is one of the, again, amazing partners of this show that just do incredible work out there in the community. Brandon uses him right before, as soon as he's got a listing, he calls them out, has them do the driveway, has them do the ceiling, makes these shows looking like these homes and listings looking like $1 million, and that's all thanks to Heights Soft Wash. You can check them out at 813-377-7940 or heightssoftwash.com. That's heightssoftwash.com. And speaking of listings, don't forget, in this hot market, if you're looking for another place to check out what's available out there throughout the Tampa Bay area, you can go to platinummvpteam.kw.com. That's platinummvpteam.kw.com, where you can find 14663 Village Glen Drive. It's 14663 Village Glen Drive in Carrollwood. This is a beautiful home that has been renovated, but it's, again, in just an incredible community. If you don't know Carrollwood, it's a well-established community, and this home just pretty much has it all. It's a 2-bed, 2.5-bath, just under 2,000 square feet. It has an outdoor pool, kitchen, lanai, an outdoor shower, and the dining room has a vaulted ceiling. The kitchen was designed by a local restaurateur, and the master bath just sounds absolutely incredible, featuring a jacuzzi tub, sauna, tanning bed. You're never going to leave your house. I mean, if there was anywhere to quarantine, it was probably this house. But you can check it out online at 14663 Village Glen Drive at platinumbpteam.kw.com. All right. Joining us is a great friend of the show, doing amazing work in the community. We had a gentleman in the last segment, Ken Afienko, who's running for judge. So a very community-based show today as John Long joins us from the United States Institute Against Human Trafficking. How you doing, John?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing awesome. Go Bulls.
Yeah.
Nice shirt.
Getting ready for football season.
I know, right? But it's still going to hang in there. The hockey season's not over yet. I'm still pulling for the three-peat.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. But the Bulls, a lot of news happening there. I think they may be getting a stadium finally.
Yeah. Good for them.
Yeah. I saw firsthand, it was one of those things I was very skeptical about the whole college stadium thing. But then I saw what happened at the University of Miami, losing the Orange Bowl, and they've never fully recovered from that.
It brings more of a culture to the campus.
Yeah.
Just kind of brings people together. There's more ownership in that. It's their stadium. They're not borrowing it from the Bucks.
Right.
Something maybe a little smaller. It just
for today's football fan, and it's just look, Florida's Florida. We have so many amazing options in terms of lifestyle and sports.
Absolutely.
You got to be realistic about what your audience is and who's going to show up, and so that may be a 20 or 30 person stadium, 30,000 person stadium.
Sure.
Maybe not 100,000 stadium like Doak or the Swamp or one of those deals.
Right.
So, but very cool. Thank you again for coming out and for the work you're doing in regards to human trafficking. What's kind of some of the latest happening out there? What are you hearing? What are some of the latest developments with your organization or what's happening in human trafficking?
Yeah, well, thank you. Thanks for having us. We're here to raise awareness. We want people to be educated on what trafficking is, what it looks like, where it's at. Because oftentimes, we've talked about this in the past, oftentimes we think it's a third world country issue. Or it's like the movie Taken, where a girl's abducted and moved to another country. But the reality is it's happening everywhere. They just, in Texas, they recovered 70 children between the ages of 10 and 17 years old that were victims of human trafficking, sex trafficking.
Yeah.
And captured these people all over the country. These 70 kids were spread out. So we know that it's a growing issue, especially during the pandemic times. Oftentimes when people were setting up dates or paying for sex, they were doing it while they were at work. And now that most people are remote, working from home, little supervision, no coworkers around, no boss around, this pandemic is
no software monitoring. What they're doing
working on
online.
laptops from our house or a desktop from home, and there's very little supervision. So the numbers of trafficking are skyrocketing.
Oh wow!
Because of that, and then also on the other side, we've got people who've lost their jobs, and so OnlyFans and those kind of platforms have skyrocketed.
Sure.
So not everybody that's on OnlyFans is being trafficked. Not everybody in the strip club is being trafficked.
Right.
But there are people that are, and the problem with that
these platforms have made it so easy. Also.
Well, OnlyFans said, you know what, we're not going to have pornography on our platform anymore. Everything's off. And they did that for about 3 days.
Right.
When they realized they lost all their revenue because that's all that OnlyFans really is.
Wow.
And Pornhub, the largest platform that's out there, you used to be able to just upload your own videos for people to view.
Right.
And there was child porn being uploaded. There was, what they would call real rape being uploaded, and people thought it was fantasy. And so those things are on those platforms. And my son is 14. He can log on to those.
Yeah.
He can't go to Home Depot and buy a can of spray paint.
Right.
But he can log on to some of those platforms and see those things.
And really in addressing human trafficking overall as an issue, let's kind of go into kind of that sliver. What really has the conversations been like, or what has that effort been like with the tech industry to try to combat some of those issues?
Yeah, so we're using some new technology that we're pretty excited about, and that technology is used to scrape some of these advertisements that are on these sex advertisement websites. Backpage is gone, but that only means something else opened up.
Sure.
And so this technology will scrape it, and we send text to them and say, hey, if you want out of this life, we can help you get out.
So you're attacking the money, which, that's brilliant.
Yeah, so we're going right to the individual that's being sold and saying, hey, if you want out, we'll help you get out.
Awesome. Well, we'll talk a little bit more about that in the next segment. John Long going to be joining us for the following segment. It's from the United States Institute Against Human Trafficking. Also, a jetpack rescue. No, not in the future. This actually happened at the top of a mountain. We'll give you the details on that coming up, along with Nate Ginter in our final segment, Chief Technology Officer from Viant IT. More coming up on the Consumer Quarterback Show.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Five, four, three, two, one. You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
Johnny Torres filling in for Brandon Rhymes. This is the Consumer Quarterback Show. Wherever you may be listening, watching the show, again, make sure you look for us on your favorite social media platform, on your favorite podcast platform, be that Apple or Spotify, or again, wherever you enjoy consuming your podcasts. And if you miss any of our shows, again, the entire video library is up on YouTube. We have tons of great content out there. We've even edited some of the episodes down into smaller pieces, get you those information nuggets that you need to keep you an informed consumer. Joining us today is John Long from the United States Institute Against Human Trafficking. But first, just want to thank, again, one of the small businesses, one of our business partners that makes this show possible, and that's Replenish IV Solutions. One of the things that we learned from COVID is that it's never too late to start working on your health, to improve, what you put in your body. We also have Fred DeFelice, who talks about water quality. We have Alex Lima, who talks about, personal fitness. Replenish IV Solutions is also a great key component to making sure that you're getting the vitamins and the nutrients you need. They can come to you. They can do house calls, or you can go visit them at their locations around Tampa. It's Replenish IV Solutions, Replenish IV Solutions, and of course, we thank them for being a sponsor of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Don't forget, we are also powered by the Platinum MVP team, and you can check all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. We have a brand new listing that just came on the scene about a week ago. 6699 Tree Haven Court. It's 6699 Tree Haven Drive in Spring Hill. It's 1,100 square feet, 3 beds, 2 bath. The kitchen, if you're watching us online, you can see has been completely remodeled, new flooring. Just looks. They've done a great job with the interior renovations. It's got stainless steel appliances, a huge backyard, and you still get a screened-in patio, conveniently located to Spring Hill, that is also growing by leaps and bounds with amazing restaurants, golf courses, and again, you're going to find this listing at platinummvpteam.kw.com. It's 6899 Tree Haven Drive in Spring Hill. John, we were talking about kind of cutting, how to cut the head off in a way of some of these tech companies that really refuse to address the problem that they've created in regards to human trafficking. And so one of those you're saying is a new piece of technology that scrapes websites, going after the advertisers, as we've seen many organizations do, as a means of boycott, as a means of combating a certain message or ideology that they don't agree with. I think that's a great approach, and when you've had these conversations maybe with some of these websites, some of these tech companies, what's typically their response? response? I mean, how do they defend this stuff?
Oh, it's the same response we hear from most people. It's not happening here. It doesn't happen on our platform. Sure. And we know that it's a moneymaker. There's a lot of money, and once you start going after people's money, they get pretty offensive. And they want to protect it. They want to keep it close to them. So we often hear, it doesn't happen here. Why don't you give us some training? We'll put our employees through training. We'll work with you just to check that box off. But nothing's really happening. And so what we really have to do is we could spend all day going after these tech companies, but what we really have to do is go after the demand, the buyer. Yeah. If there's no buyer, there's no need for the supply. And so one of the other things that we're doing too is we've developed a new technology that's not out yet, but we're working on it, that we can specifically target the buyers. We know the typical profile of a buyer. Yeah. And so we can do target ads to them to try to deter them from buying.
Well, that's one of the things that's been talked about, especially with the recent shootings. Uvalde, unfortunately, we've now heard of another one, I think in Toledo, at a medical facility. And again, we have the government, especially, they have all this information. They have tons of it. And they don't seem to really, I mean, it's like, look, if you're going to invade our privacy to the extent that they do, they might as well, right? Exactly. And so one of the things I am hearing, though, is to build these kind of profiles. You're saying, so in regards to human trafficking, you can do the same thing.
We've done it. And we're just a little tiny organization here in Tampa, Florida. We're already doing it. We were kind of ahead of the game. We actually were so successful at it, we had to slow down. Because we weren't able to connect these individuals with the resources that they needed. And so we didn't want to overpromise. And so we actually had to step back a little bit. But we were able to target ad. We had about a 30% click on the button of our target ad. You know, when you go to Amazon and you look at a pair of shoes, for the next 6 months, that shoe shows up in every website you look at. And so that's what we were doing with our ads, is our target ads were following these guys around.
Well, and I want to mention that for the small business owner out there, because there may be businesses out there that don't even realize that they are supporting some of these websites. Because, that's my background, is marketing and advertising. And I've used these ad platforms that basically just put your advertisement everywhere on the internet. But if you are not familiar with that ad platform and exactly what website it puts your ads on, you could very likely be supporting one of these websites that are contributing to human trafficking.
Absolutely. And that's where the education part comes in. Education on the marketing side, but also educating yourself on what does trafficking look like. What are these platforms are being really used for? We know the dark web exists. It used to be that trafficking happened in the street. They call it the track. The girl would walk the track. But everything has moved online now. And so you have to be aware as an organization, as a business, on where you're spending your money and who you're supporting.
Yeah, one of the things that, one of the platforms that's been in the news a lot lately is, of course, Twitter, and their potential purchase by Elon Musk. Notoriously, again, it's one of those where they want to turn a blind eye and say, that's not happening on our platform. Is Twitter. They have tons of adult content, inappropriate, and maybe, I'm sure, illegal content.
Absolutely.
And what has kind of been their reaction to it?
So what they're doing now in Mexico specifically is they're using Twitter and Snapchat to advertise jobs to come pick up people and smuggle them across the border.
Wow.
They're not hiding it. It's blatant. It's out there. You can go there. You can find these. Hey, if you want to make $300,000 or $3,000, here's what you have to do. And the Snapchat and Twitter, they're using those platforms to advertise the jobs. They're both aware of it. I don't know. Their response is typically, again, it doesn't happen here. Too big of a job. We don't have enough people to look at all these different.
Meanwhile, they can micro-target certain voices that they
There's
don't want
always
on the
enough
platform.
people when they want to do what they want to do.
Right.
But when they get called out, it's a staffing issue.
That's unbelievable. And one of the things that I think, again, makes your organization unique and really opens up a lot of eyes is the fact that you all focus on young men as being a primary target of trafficking, which again is often, it's the misnomer, right? It's the one that people overlook or don't really believe is happening.
It's one of the greatest myths. We think that only men buy sex and only women are being sold for sex. We know women are paying for sex as well. And boys and men are also victims. We don't allow them to be victims in our culture, because boys will be boys, men will be men. If they didn't want to do it, they wouldn't do it. But we know that's all a myth. We've dealt with boys as young as 10 years old that are being sold from the age of 4 years old. So we've rescued them at the age of 10. We know it's happening. It's happening in all different neighborhoods. It's happening with all different genders.
Well, it's obviously Benzie. Hillsborough County had a rash of time there where, we saw adults, adult females preying on young men in our school systems, and these were predominantly teachers.
Yeah. Sometimes the signs are very similar. We just don't ask those questions to boys. Okay. If a girl ends up on the street and she's away for a week and she comes back, she doesn't look like she was living on the street. We ask her, how'd you survive? If a boy runs away and comes back and he doesn't look like he's living on the street, we don't ask those questions because we don't think he's going to be a victim. And so just asking the same questions.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. And again, you were mentioning off the air that you're transitioning the organization, from a safe house that you're transitioning out of, and explain to us, to kind of wrap up the segment, into what is this next iteration of the United States Institute Against Human Trafficking look like?
So historically, we had a safe house dedicated to boys between the ages of 10 and 17. After 5 years of operating that, we figured out there's a better way to do this. If we go into the community, we meet victims where they're at. We don't have to wait for them to get arrested. We don't have to wait for them to spend years in there. We can get to them a lot faster. So we're going upriver now. Yeah. So we can get them, before they jump in or right when they jump in, as opposed to waiting for them to get caught. And so we're really focusing on community-based services, partnering with our already existing organizations, and plugging people in with those services.
Awesome. Well, again, I can't thank you enough for the work you do. It is truly unbelievable, and I wish that someday we could see that that there comes a day where you're out of a job, But until then, please continue the work that you're doing. How can they get a hold of you? Learn more about what's happening in regards to human trafficking.
We've got all our information on our website, usiaht.org. It's a mouthful. usiaht.org. Okay. There's training on there for parents, churches, businesses, but it's all on there.
Awesome. And again, John is one of those folks that you can also find over at the show's website, consumerqb.com, if that's a little easier for you to remember. John, thanks so much for joining us. Coming up, Chief Technology Officer from Vine IT, Nate Ginter, joining us on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Again, look for us, subscribe, follow us online, ring the bell on your favorite social media platform, and subscribe to the audio version of our podcast anywhere you listen to your audio podcast. This is the Consumer Quarterback Show.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you've been listening to the phenomenal Brandon Rhymes, the Consumer Quarterback Show.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, in studio with Martin Gramatica, that is, former Tampa Bay Buccaneer Super Bowl winner. Lifeguard Imaging, lifeguardimaging.com, saving lives through early detection.
Thanks for having me, Brandon. Yes, that's what we're doing at Lifeguard Imaging. You come in asymptomatic, and that's what we do. You're being proactive. You're coming in. We do a scan from the neck to the pelvis. It's a full body scan. It's a 3D image of every organ, and that's where 90% of the deadliest cancers are, in our mid-region. So we can see everything. But for your listeners, we have a real good special. We have a $599 value, absolutely complimentary. They can come in for a coronary artery scan, which will give you their calcium score, 100% complimentary for your people.
Very cool. Hey, take them up on that offer, 813-917-1894. Call or text complimentary scan, 813-917-1894, and check them out online, lifeguardimaging.com.
Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. Buying, selling, investing in real estate, their nationwide Keller Williams network makes them the best team to work with. Sellers, have your property featured live on air, creating multiple offers. Buyers, leverage a unique system that gets your offer accepted, never overlooked. Call or text 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550, or consumerqb.com.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right. Thank you again for listening, watching, whenever, wherever you may be doing so. This is the Consumer Quarterback Show online at consumerqb.com. And don't forget, for the hottest real estate listings, commercial, residential, check out the Platinum MVP team at platinummvpteam.kw.com. That's platinummvpteam.kw.com. I know one of the properties that Brandon's really excited about is 3008 North Nebraska Avenue. This is located right in the middle of Seminole Heights. Incredibly popular area. Some of the Tampa Bay's best restaurants are in Seminole Heights, and you've got this amazing office building really available for mixed use. It's just under 3,700 square feet, 6 rooms, 3 bathrooms. The price has been reduced. This would make for a great creative agency, maybe even a doctor's office. There's plenty of building and street parking, which again in Seminole Heights, very hard to find parking. So this is a gold mine just on that front, and it's so easy to get to from wherever you may be in the Tampa Bay area, because it's right by 275, I-4, and of course, if you want to step out for lunch, you're just minutes from downtown Riverwalk and Armature Works and all that fun stuff. So make sure you check that listing out, 3008 North Nebraska Avenue at platinummvpteam.kw.com. One of the things Brandon loves to do is share is our feel-good stories, and this one, it's just too cool to pass up, and I know you'd love to hear it. Nate Ginter joining us now from Vine IT. He's the Chief Technology Officer, but there has been what I'm thinking is maybe our first jetpack rescue. A paramedic flew to the top of a mountain in 3 minutes thanks to a British aeronautical innovation company that's helping first responders get to difficult locations in record time. A recent video by Gravity Industries, a paramedic scaled a mountain in under 4 minutes using one of their jet suits, which I think they had one out here for SOFIC here in Tampa just recently. He only had 6 days of training. And it took him 3 minutes and 30 seconds to get to the top of this particular mountain. It normally would take an hour and 20 minutes on foot. Of course, it seems like it's also probably a difficult place for a helicopter to land on. They had poor visibility that day.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when we're talking about people who get lost out hiking trails.
Sure.
You got these avalanches and snowboarders and skiers. I mean, this development is amazing.
It's cool to think of. So first of all, the future's now, man. How cool is that? We were kids like that. Maybe the Rocketeer.
We have jetpacks.
We now have functioning jetpacks, which is awesome.
No, flying cars almost there.
Yes, well, they've got them. They do exist, and they've had the submergible cars for years. But the jetpack thing has a bunch of cool applications. I mean, imagine, if there's an incident up on, in a high rise or, something at the top of a building, and you don't have the time to, if there's no electricity or anything like that,
right.
You don't have the time to scale 80 floors, by stairs. You just boop. 60 seconds, you're up on top.
Well, and again, it seems like something that could probably be easily packed away into a fire truck. And then you've got, you got your guide straps in, and
when you see them for the folks listening without the benefit of the streaming video there, it's pretty big. It looks like a giant old vacuum canister from like the 50s, but that's how big it is now. I mean, three generations.
For us Gen X or millennials, it reminds me of the Mega Man. Remember Mega Man?
Yes, it looks very much like Mega Man.
It looks like he has like 2 lampshades on his wrists, but it works. And famously, France, I remember, did a military thing, big military demonstration, I think for Bastille Day, and they had like a handful of these guys flying around.
Oh yeah.
So it's obviously now safe enough to be implemented.
I think it's probably a little bit cost prohibitive at this point for the military. Just they're pretty expensive, from my understanding. I think there's something like $2 or $3 million to actually build one. But it's wild to think, again, it's like everything else. The first smartphone, the Newton back in the day, was the size of an iPad and had like no memory to it. And now, your phone is more powerful than a desktop computer.
Yeah, or the original space shuttles, they like to say. That's always my favorite comparison. And yet we use it to watch dog videos.
Right, exactly.
Well, Nate, thank you so much for joining us. You always bring some awesome content to talk about. So let's go ahead and kick off with this first story. Google reportedly pausing RCS ads in India due to spam. So tell us a little bit about what that means and what's happening over there.
So for those people who have an Android phone, basically every phone that's not an iPhone, which is by far, if you look at worldwide usage, it's they're 80 to 90% of the world smartphone market. Why this is interesting, because it's so basically, Android has always lingered behind iMessage in its capabilities for sending content or pictures and things like that in a group fashion. So Google's answer to that is a platform called RCS messaging, and you can turn it on in any smartphone that is running the new Google operating system, and it does things like you may have even seen it in your email now, where when you copy a link, and there was a picture in this, but you can see, like when you copy a link, all of a sudden it goes out and scans a website and then gives you a little thumbnail picture just from copying a link.
Sure.
So they've integrated that sort of functionality in here. What's interesting about RCS and Google's implementation of it, because never forget, Google is an advertising company.
Yep.
That is where all of the revenue comes from. So what they allowed businesses to do, almost as like a test case in India, if you were a verified business who paid Google on their platform, Google would give them lists of people that they were basically spamming with, hey, come on into our business. And so they actually immediately, within a couple of weeks of turning that on, actually disabled that functionality because they had so many complaints from people.
Wow.
You're already getting spam calls and texts and things, and now they're actually your phone manufacturer was now targeting you with stuff.
Well, this is a creeping problem.
Yes,
really, because you and I both know that again, this technology can almost be adapted to any type of electronic device that has online capabilities, and so now we have people complaining about the cheap televisions that you're buying, like at Walmart or Target. That some of the way that they're subsidizing these prices and giving you this 80-inch screen TV for $500 is because you're going to get advertisements on your screen when you least want them to be there. And so while you're going through a guide or a menu or whatever, you're going to get advertisements that you didn't know were actually, it's as they say, it's not a bug, it's a feature.
The high cost of low prices. In general, when it comes to IT, everybody always wants a free solution to something, and I always tell people there's no such thing as a free lunch.
Right.
That Gmail that's free that you're using, they're gathering all of your data and targeting ads towards you. Now, something like that can be fairly innocuous, but when you start getting into these file sharing solutions, and you start depending on Google or Microsoft or these platforms for their free storage space, well, that once they get you on their platform, that runs out eventually, and then you find, you're out of memory, and nothing's going to work unless you give them another $10 a month or $20 a month. And these things, if you go and you use the right services to begin with, especially for your business, you can actually end up saving a lot of money over time.
Well, I like to kind of link it back to even some of the streaming services that we see now. It's like we went from television, to everybody jumping on streaming because they didn't want advertisements, to now they're running advertisements on your streaming service and you're paying for your streaming service.
And how would it go any other way? It's the satellite radio model.
Yeah, exactly. Man. So, again, another thing to look out for if you want more information on this, again, check out Nate Ginter. He's with Vine IT. Especially if you've got a small business, medium-sized business that needs those IT services, needs that IT support, cybersecurity.
We do virtual CIO services too for helping you plan out your business's future. Maybe you're growing a little bit, and the old ways and workflows aren't working for you. We also do a lot of workflow consulting, which is my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, because nowadays, again, no business is safe. Whether you're a small business or a big business, the data that you have on your devices that help you run your business is incredibly valuable to hackers and other people out there. And
Absolutely.
So you have to protect your business no matter what size it is. So how can they get in touch with you and Vine IT?
So you can visit us at VineIT, VINEIT.com, and we've got we're always happy to have a conversation with anybody. So we do a free consultation for your business, and talk to you about your needs and try to tailor something specifically for you that's going to help you scale easily.
Excuse me. All right. Well, thanks, Nate, buddy. Great to see you as always.
Always a pleasure,
Thank
Johnny.
you for the awesome content, and let's talk about getting a jetpack as soon as we finish the show.
Absolutely.
Thank you again to Brandon Rhymes for allowing me to fill in for him as he's out there educating other realtors on how to be successful in Florida real estate. He's going to be back soon. We appreciate you for listening, watching the show, whenever, wherever you may be able to do so. Look for Brandon Rhymes on YouTube, Facebook, and for the video version of this show. For the audio version of this show, again, we're right there wherever you want us to be, whether it's Spotify, Apple, iTunes, and you can even find us, speaking of smart TVs, on Roku, Amazon TV, your Fire Stick if you got one of those. And again, make sure to like, follow, subscribe, and ring the bell. On behalf of the team here at Salem Radio and the Consumer Quarterback Show, thanks to James, our producer, Michael running our live streaming today. And again, don't forget, for your real estate listings, check out the Consumer Quarterback Show. That's consumerqb.com, and the Platinum MVP team at platinummvpteam.kw.com. That's platinummvpteam.kw.com for real estate listings, commercial, residential. You got it. It's there. Thank you so much for listening to the show. We'll catch you on the next one. This is Johnny Torres filling in for Brandon Rhymes. Goodbye, everybody.
You've been listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Call Brandon Rhymes at 813-917-1894. That's 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.